Here we are again, the end of another Breakpoint.
It's the same music as last year. That's
I think it is the
touch.
same music as last year. Still like it?
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Good? Good event? Amazing. I think we asked you, maybe on this stage or definitely at this event last year, should we do it again in Lisbon? And you all said, like, resoundingly yes. So
Yeah.
you get what you asked for.
We were back again. So, an amazing 3 days, but they were really just the end of what was a pretty incredible week in Lisbon. From Hacker House to Games Day, like, what was that like, kind of moving from 3 days for you guys to a whole week?
Was it a week or was it a month?
I know.
It could have been a year.
I got acclimated to my jet lag, so finally. switched.
Just in
Yeah,
time to go
yeah.
home.
Yeah, I think I'm just over the jet lag too. But the Hacker House and especially Games Day, which was, I think, an incredible day before Breakpoint started off, I think energized everyone because we were all just murdering each other in like awesome games that have shipped using Solana, which is incredible.
It was great. So the previous 9 months of crypto have been a little trying. What were you sort of expecting coming into Breakpoint, and what did you find?
I was worried, honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was very much surprised by the folks that showed up, especially all the devs and all the engineers, people actually building product. You know, the meme, it's a build market. It's just a meme, but it actually takes people to go and do the work. And it's always awesome. It's just always awesome to meet those folks and to shake their hand.
Yeah, how many people here, by show of hands, were in crypto in like 2017, 2018? Okay, that's a decent amount. Yeah, like, I think anybody who was there at that time remembers how fast, you know, a room that used to be full and used to be completely vibrant and full of exciting energy about the promise of crypto and what could be built could just completely evaporate and be totally empty the next day. Like, we all saw that in 2017, 18, and that was totally possible this year. Like, the markets completely, you know, collapsed, and you know, I think the last time we saw that was 2017, 18, and the meme is always, we're gonna build through the bear market, but you don't know it until you see it in person. And this event, I think, was like 70, 80% developers, which is incredible. So definitely give yourselves a hand, devs, like, that showed up. And the best part is, this year there are real products. Like, I was just every day, 10, 20 different products I'm seeing demoed and that we're using that wouldn't be possible without Solana's performance. It's a real dream.
Yeah, I mean, it's really notable that we had 65% more people come to Breakpoint this year than last year. Like, in the depths of a bear market. I mean, the commitment to building is pretty incredible. So thank you all for coming also. So speaking of that, like, Raj, what do you see as some of the most impactful announcements that have come out of Breakpoint this year?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's so hard to pick even 10, but I think everyone was really buzzing about, you know, the Fire Dancer talk and Kevin Bowers. Like, the fact that Solana is attracting that level of technical talent to, you know, contribute to the ecosystem and the stack at such a fundamental level is incredible. You know, Jules with Render again this year, and Brendan Eich with Brave, and Google Cloud showing up, and Stripe, and Meta and Instagram. And those are like the ones off the top of my head. We saw Teleport with finally a real functioning, you know, decentralized Uber, and Helium, you know, moving to Solana, and Hivemapper launching. Like, it just keeps coming, and I think there's probably 100 that I'm forgetting about.
Yeah, it's like the theme last year was like, there's all these amazing builders starting and making commitments to build on the network, and like, here they are, right? That's this year. It's like a lot of the stuff that we talked about as being foundational technologies, like even just things like Wormhole is in a much more mature state than it was before. Like, Metaplex is a much more mature state than it was at last Breakpoint. All these things have matured to the point where we've gone from things being hypothetical or there being concept builds on Solana to them being production grade and deployed for hundreds of thousands of users.
What do you think, Tully?
Yeah, what do you think about that, Tully?
I had fun geeking out with all the folks at Mev Day.
Yeah.
Small group of DeFi founders that are looking at like how to optimize order flow.
Who was at Mev Day? Show of hands. Yeah, that was where the cool kids were.
Yeah.
Nice.
So speaking of some of these larger Web 2 companies, Google, Stripe, et cetera, coming into the space, there's a lot of folks who've been building on Solana for 2 years now. How should they be thinking about interacting and building with some of these really mature and established companies?
All of these companies are looking for ways to get into crypto, the ones that are here, right? They're opening the door and basically asking, like, help us figure out what crypto means for Google, what crypto means for Stripe. It's going to be a long process for us to get to 1 billion users to use it. And the companies that are able to transform their businesses into ones that are very symbiotic with crypto are the ones that are going to survive. The ones that don't are not. So like, these are like the, go make friends. Go check out the products you're building and like figure out if they can help you get more users and like build better products for your users.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure, like, looking out here, just given the strangers that didn't, have a face or weren't known or didn't have a logo from last year, that now this year are like stars and everyone knows them and they have millions of dollars of funding and they have a 20-person team and they're ready to take over the world. Like, I'm pretty sure someone in here is, gonna be the CEO of the next like big crypto unicorn. And taking a picture of this audience, it's like looking at a picture of, early Y Combinator. And if you look at the companies back then, like they were hustling to find users wherever they could. And I think like, Airbnb got all of its users from Craigslist. If you look at these Web 2 companies that are turning on, like crypto wallets with Solana NFTs for billions of users, there are endless businesses to be built around those web properties. I think just go look at the announcements, look at the products, look at what users are doing, find user behaviors, and plug into them.
Yeah. So Tolia, the network has grown tremendously over the last year, right? In all these important metrics on validator count, Nakamoto coefficient, et cetera, Solana's leading on almost all these metrics across the industry. I think it's fair to say it's probably the most decentralized proof-of-stake network at this point. How should builders be thinking about sort of how the network evolves going into the next year? I know we talked about some of like the really hard problems, but like in that next year, how are you thinking about them?
Well, I'm hoping we see Firedancer get to like a mature state where you can have secondary clients, and that would make just I'll be able to like basically sleep at night finally when we have 2 clients. maybe at that point can personally say it's not beta, but it's really up to you guys. The second thing I think is that the folks that run the validators for like an actual use case, like an actual business use case, maybe it's Magic Eden and they want faster load times for all their state. Maybe it's a DAO and they're like building a dApps on top of that. That's actual decentralization. It's more important that you're running these nodes and care about the liveness and that the network is up, because you have like an actual real world dependency on the Solana surviving, and not simply because of tokenomics or something like that. So I want folks to think about that when they think about decentralization. Is it actually serving, is it adding human value, like for Solana to exist?
That's really interesting. So Raj, you've spent a ton of time over the last few days talking with folks in the ecosystem founders, builders in the space. Like, what are some of the takeaways from those conversations or threads of commonality you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most surprising thing is just how many people are pushing the Solana ecosystem forward in really deep, substantive ways that I didn't even know about. I don't think anybody, in our team or even, on crypto Twitter where everyone lives knows about. And a lot of it is super international. So, Super Team put Solana on the map in India in this past year. Kind of went from 0 to 100.
Yeah, shout out to Super Team in India.
And there's another Super Team equivalent in Vietnam, one in Turkey. There's a guy that apparently has just been a one-man army in Mexico, standing up validators, working with local government and running 20 hackathons, and literally had no idea who this guy was until now. So, I mean, I think like it is a global movement, and there is a role to play for everyone, not even just developers, but anyone who sees the power of this community. And Breakpoint, these events, getting onto crypto Twitter, like mentioning us is a great way to get visibility. But worst case, just seeing each other in person is an incredible way to connect. And hopefully those folks made great friends that are lasting here.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that's, I think, important to remember is there's just a small fraction of the Solana community with us in Lisbon right now. It's truly amazing. I mean, we had, gosh, 10 speakers get visas denied alone. So there's a lot of folks who couldn't come, and it's great folks who are able to join us virtually. But it's important to remember, like, this is just a small fraction of the Solana community.
Yeah, and locations, venues are always a challenge, but where do you all think we should do it next year? That's it? Those are the only opinions. Mexico, Lisbon,
Turkey,
Berlin, Turkey, China. Okay.
Istanbul.
Right.
Is this what it sounds like to be a validator?
Yeah,
Right.
that is.
Tell us on Twitter @SolanaConf. Tell us your vote for what location to go to. Cape Town.
Good.
All right, still coming. Great.
Yeah. So, Toli, what are, I think last year we closed it out talking by a few of the things that you were hoping folks would develop or start building on the network. For each of you, what are either, maybe specific types of applications or a general class of applications that you'd love to come back to Breakpoint next year and say, like, we talked about this stuff, it's really getting built now?
Formally verified smart contracts. Just like if people should start really thinking about this now, I think it's time that that's the standard. I think protocols that tie games and like experiences together, because I really want to see the vision of the metaverse be a bunch of small teams, thousands of teams that are building something where that get to 10 million, 100 million users than one big company that gets there. So stuff like that I think can be really, really important. And like, obviously, like any way that you can think of how crypto can improve somebody's life in the real world. Maybe it's as simple as an app that has USDC and some savings yield.
Yeah, it's tough to pick again, but I think what I see Solana ecosystem and community getting really good at is, similar to like the DNA of Solana. You guys used to surf and then go code and surf and code. I think like when we see a wave, we know how to go catch it together. And even though it's a decentralized ecosystem of builders, we know how to create a Schelling point, an event like this that we all just rush in on. I think the next one that I can think of is like World Cup. Match Day announced today, or one of these days, I think it was today, that they have names and likeness rights for NFTs for World Cup. BetDex is launching sports betting in time for World Cup. There's probably a bunch of other products that I don't even know about. But coordinating with the communities that you've built, finding the commonalities within the Solana ecosystem for people that care about that event, and then using it to just acquire and onboard as many people as possible into crypto is what I'm interested in. So, again, use Twitter, find those moments, those waves that we should ride together, and I think Solana Foundation can help to bring attention to those.
Yeah, definitely. And so the energy in the last few days has been tremendous here. I think that's something that we can all feel. I definitely felt it here this year, and especially last year, seeing a bunch of folks in person for the first time. But it's a globally distributed community. Folks go back home, or if they live in Lisbon, they stay in Lisbon. How do you sort of keep that energy here carrying you through what is still a builder's market and a bear market?
I think first, like I said earlier, there are communities in every major city that are focused on crypto. Make sure you're plugged into those communities. You know where they are. You know who's building, and just show up. Go to events. And there are hacker houses, 12 of them next year in most major cities. Go to those. Again, crypto Twitter, Discord, I think, show up and form your little tribes that are learning and shipping and experimenting together. And I think most importantly, ship products that create value that'll get noticed above all else.
Yeah, sometimes it's worth turning off notifications.
Just code.
Yep.
Love it.
Or surf.
Or surf.
Yeah.
Yeah, touch grass. That's important too.
Yeah, that's true. There is this sort of you can go 80 hours a week for a while, but at some point you do have to touch grass.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I think it's worth taking a moment to say most people in this room probably burned the hell out, like in the last year and a half. And I think what I've seen is kind of like fracture and repair when people hit that breakpoint, and then find their group of people that they've been working and shipping alongside that are actually together for maybe something a little bit deeper. It's because we care about each other. It's because maybe we want to see the same impact in the world. Maybe we care about how we spend our time together. And I think, go surf with them. Like, go make new connections happen in your brain by just unplugging from crypto for a little bit. I think a lot of people forget to do that.
All right. Any last thoughts?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you, Austin, and Ellie, Tina, Super Team, Amplified, all the developers, designers, builders, investors, community managers, and everyone else that I'm forgetting to mention.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Toli.